Welcome back to Madness. We left off last time looking at potential draft picks. Scott Koenig has an amazing arm and amazing accuracy and is apparently gutsy too. He could be a franchise QB. Eric Richardson looks like a franchise edge rusher, and Chucky Lambert looks like a fantastic center that would help bolster this offensive line. Got Jackson, a fast corner with good hands. Phil Adderley looks like a nice edge too, and Andy Shakur could help our linebacking core. At pick number 3, we go for Eric Richardson to be the franchise edge rusher. Then at pick number 15, Scott Koenig is right there for the taking. That makes it possible to get Chad Hutchinson out of here. Thanks for the first rounder, Chiefs. With that first from Kansas City, we grab center Chucky Lambert. That's 3 of our guys. Andy Shakur was available early in the second, so that's a no-brainer. And in the third, we went for defensive tackle Martin Givens. Then with another third, we go for a running back, since we don't really have anyone there. We locked Richardson up for 7 years, and he looks like an absolute stud. Really talented. He's a little light on the brains, but we hope he develops well. Scott Koenig gets locked up for 7 years too, and with that 90 throw power and 87 accuracy, we're looking for huge things from our franchise dude. Chucky Lambert gets a 7-year deal as well, and he is also really good, aware as well. There was a left guard taken after Lambert, that's Fong, who is also a 76 overall, so that's really going to help this line out. Andy Shakur comes in at 69 overall, but his speed at linebacker isn't super easy to come by in this game. The better pick overall-wise was McLean, who was taken 30 picks later, coming in at 70 overall. Defensive tackle Gibbons, also a 70, and despite that Dustin Johnson, not the golfer, is a 63, I think we had a really good draft here to set up this rebuild. Let me know what you think of this draft in the comments section. We weren't super active in free agency, but as you can see, we did bring in some depth. The only bigger signing was bringing in Travis Minor to be our starter at running back, replacing what we had in Hambrick at the beginning of last season. Training camp and preseason did improve some of our rookies, so I'm really excited to see how well they perform and progress during the season. Offensively, I'm expecting some struggles, while the defense should keep the team in some games. We started home against the Minnesota Vikings, who are the opposite. They're more offense than defense. We win a defensive battle with Travis Minor scoring the lone touchdown of the game. Koenig will have his growing pains. The defense knocked Culpepper out of the game after he threw a couple picks. This defense is going to be nasty. Richardson making an impact already in his career. Next, the Giants on the road, and hey, an upset on paper. We take those. Koenig played wonderful, but he got knocked out of the game, and Minor had a great day too. I was not expecting a win against Washington, and we did not get one. Koenig taking growing pains to the next level, getting knocked out of 2 games straight now, and Travis Minor continues to be really solid. Eric Richardson, look at him with a 3-sack game. The Lions, I'm not scared of. 9-0. Wow. Gross game, but we take wins here. The offense was fine. Didn't make many mistakes at least, and the defense was impeccable. 3 sacks for Glover and 2 for Wen. Trade deadline, but I'm only really interested in dumping Lear since we have Chucky Lambert, and we sent him to Minnesota for a 5th-round pick. Next up, the Bengals. Even matchup, and we barely lost it. Damn. Koenig did well enough. However, Minor with 3 carries for 4 yards, bit of a concern, means he got knocked out of the game, and Corey Dillon destroyed us. Nice day for Antonio Bryant, though. Now the Eagles, and we won't win. Of course not. Didn't start playing until the final quarter. Good God. Good thing Minor is okay, though, as he did play in this one. Giants rematch, and they will get their revenge in a defensive battle. No one particularly played well in the game either. 3-4 after starting 2-0 feels really awful. The Ravens, it's Joey Galloway's return to Dallas, and he took advantage. We led 13-6 before Matt Stover hit a field goal, and Joey Galloway with 2 TD catches from Chris Redmond sealed the deal for Balti. He went 12 catches, 186, and 2 scores. Sheesh. In Chicago, and it's another defensive loss. We really got to improve this offense. Koenig threw a touchdown, and then he went to crap, and Travis Minor didn't play the ball game. He's out 8 weeks with a dislocated elbow. This is why we just can't have nice things. 2, 3, and 6 teams, and we win the tank bowl for now. Getting destroyed by a team on our level is not cool, so kind of mixed feelings here. At least it wasn't Koenig's fault. Quincy Carter played for an injured Koenig, and he played horribly. Browns? Another tank bowl? Well, we lost this tank bowl, but I'll take the good play from Koenig. Good closeout in the fourth quarter by the offense and the defense. The Steelers are one of the best teams in the league, so this loss is not a shocker. Happy the defense was getting after the quarterback this much, though. The Packers are another top-flight team, and we knocked Favre out and hung in there. Dustin Johnson had his best game ever, but the defense just didn't do much. Oh no, not the Eagles. Yep, I hate the Eagles. Overtime, though, hanging in with them is fun. Koenig was okay, and we were helped by the kickoff return by Woody Dantzler. Washington rematch, and I didn't expect to win, but a close shootout? I'm proud of the offense throughout the game, but the second half defense was just atrocious. Not a shocker that Lavernius Coles destroyed us again, though. Koenig played great, so why not use 3 quarterbacks and 2 wide receivers to throw passes? Great. Oh gosh, Quincy Carter and Brock Heward both hurt. You just can't make this up. So we signed Clint Sterner, who was on our team, for a year. Final game is hosting the Cardinals, and we beat them last season and this season, beating a team we should beat to go 5-11. Now Koenig got to play more than 5 attempts in these games, man. Sterner came in handy, but we might have been better off playing the wide receivers as quarterbacks again. At least we got after the number 1 overall pick, Martin Odom. Season stats, Scott Koenig finishes with 2,100 yards, 12 touchdowns, 13 picks. Johnson had 790 yards and 4 touchdowns, but only a 2.7 average. Miner would have had a wonderful year if he didn't get hurt, but we move. Terry Glenn was our leading yards and touchdowns guy, while Bryant had 1 more reception than him. Witten was fine, and the Hoosh signing worked out just fine for us. Fong had a fantastic rookie year, and while I'd like to see Lambert cut down on giving up those sacks, he was fine. Good year for Dexter Coakley. Leroy Glover had 13 sacks and 77 tackles. A D-tackle is crazy. Richardson had a great rookie year with 9 sacks, 7 for the star of Halloween, Michael Myers, as well as Greg Ellis. Newman, Ross, and Woodson all had 3 picks. The Jets play the Chiefs in the AFC title, and it goes to the Jets. Chad Pennington and company for the win. The Seahawks take on the Rams in the NFC title, and the Rams, of course, win that one. They were so unstoppable in these times. Can the Jets pull off the upset Super Bowl win against the greatest show on turf? Nah, they can't. Close enough game, good Super Bowl, but Marshall Faulk was just too much for them to handle. We made a whopping $2 million, so we get to slightly raise our prices again. And now we need a defensive coordinator. Chuck Cecil is coming aboard. The only retirement is the fullback Richardson. That makes Jamar Martin our only fullback, so we'll bring him back since he's young, and I don't feel like looking for another one. Greg Ellis is getting up there in age, but he's a big part of the defense, so he's going to come back on a 2-year deal. Michael Myers had a great year, so we're re-signing him, and Woody Dantzler returned to kickoff, so he's getting re-signed too. With Travis Minor getting screwed, regressing after his injury, we are really looking for weapons in the draft. Tony Gooden would make a speedy starting running back. Isaac Ferris, Floyd Watkins, Chad Parker, Donnie Black, and Derek Cottrell all look like fire pass catchers for Koenig, and I'd like to nab 2 of them. Trades: Quincy Carter to Tampa for a 4th-round pick, Terry Glenn and a 7th to Jacksonville for a 4th and a 6th, 3 5ths to Seattle for a 3rd, just moving picks up, 3 4ths to Atlanta for a 2nd, moving picks up. Travis Minor, we dump him off to Detroit for a 4th, 5th, and 6th. 2 depth corners going to Washington for a 6th-round pick, and 2 6ths and a 7th going to Tampa for a 5th-round pick. We had the 5th overall selection. There were a number of different players on our radar. Ultimately, wide receiver Floyd Watkins became the selection in hopes that others would be there later. But our next pick was 37th overall, and no one was there. Not Gooden, not any of the other wideouts. So I did the next best thing and went BPA with defensive end Leslie Evans. 14 wide receivers were taken between our 1st and 2nd picks. Absolutely insane. And after that, we selected tackle Sleepy Strausser, great name, defensive tackle RB Mason, quarterback Joe Mays, and then running back McGuire since we had none. There was a safety picked in there as well, you'll see him. Watkins got his long contract, and he's fast. 71 overall. We're hoping he really takes off with us. Evans is also a 71. He's going to be a solid third edge rusher. Roland Knight wasn't mentioned, but he's that safety I was talking about, a sleeper pick at number 55. He's a 74 overall. He might be buried a bit in the secondary, but it's a solid BPA pick. Sleepy is a 66. I wanted better from a guy with such a goated name, but we'll live. Mason's a 70, which is great depth on the defensive front. Barnett, a 66 at pick 100. He wasn't mentioned before either, but he's nice depth. Mays at 55, he is bad, but he'll be our third string quarterback, I would imagine. McGuire can't play. He just can't play. Bill Thomas is a 99 speed wide receiver, and he was taken in the first round with 64 catching. Roman Anderson is a 71 speed, 61 catching receiver who went before our 37th pick. Yeah. We didn't have a shot at anybody that we actually wanted if guys like this were being picked at those spots. So we're going to make up for it. We're bringing in Charles Woodson to make our secondary incredible. We brought in a lot of backups also, but we also brought in Sean Springs. Now, I would have kept Sean Springs, and I wouldn't have minded. But Jacksonville was willing to give up Chad Parker and a couple of draft picks. That's too good to pass up on because that's exactly what we wanted. We liked our secondary at this point, and Ross's contract is coming up, and the Rams would give us what we thought was an underrated back in Flewelling, a first and a fourth. So we took it. And then we actually had a deal on the table to give up that Rams first and a third, which would have kept all of our original picks, and it would have netted us the running back, Tony Gooden. But we ultimately decided to just ride it out this year. You can bet I'll be back to something like this if our Flewelling experiment fails. Training camp and preseason came and went, and I really feel like the team is improving to one that should be very competitive with an elite defense and a growing offense. Hopefully, we have the right mix here. We'll find out next time as we start in the Meadowlands against the Giants, which happens to be the one team in our division that we've had the easiest time with. What do you think will happen this season?